Remember, please hit like and subscribe for me. Thank you so much. Okay, let's go.
Hi everyone. Apologies for being a little late today. Had a little technology snag. Today is Friday, August the 8th. My name is Anne-Marie Band, and this is the Moneyball Morning Report for the Benzinga Pro platform. We're taking a look at the E-mini S&P contract, as we often do. Takes a broad look at the range. You'll notice two things. We are sitting inside of the 30-minute candlestick open of yesterday and the 30-minute candlestick open of today. A lot of consolidation. Here's the interesting thing about Fridays. Fridays typically have some sort of trending element to them. They are very unlikely to be consolidation days. That being said, anything can happen in the market. What are we staring down? We've got a low, a higher low, a low, a high, higher low, barely higher high, higher low. So this could be a grind into the low volume zone, right? This low volume node here, the original potential breakout to the upside now will become resistance. As I mentioned yesterday, these lines can go in both directions. We lose it, we head to the lower levels. Notice my boxes, they are the opening range formations. So as we sit there and look at this, we can see that the traders are building volume in a new ledge, as it were. 63.71 looks like a really solid support zone. That's down here near the VWAP, the volume weighted average price. Top of the range looks like the congestion area over here to the left, and that looks like about 63.90, 63.91. I am trading this range, just got out of a trade short and not taking a trade in the middle of this noise at all. I'm simply going to watch for a topping formation, potentially take another short at the rejection of this 63.88. However, if it happens on the opening candlestick formation and it piles in on volume, I will immediately pull that trade event and watch, because high volume breaks over these key resistance zones are going to show continuation. No matter what system you use, the volume that comes in at your price points are really going to tell the tale in the near term as an intraday trader. All right, opening range high, I can't see. Let's see, opening range high, 6,382, opening range low, 6,371 or so. You know, we are breaking both sides of that, but revert to the mean, right? And that's something very important to notice. This area here, lot of congestion. Watch for price action breaks underneath the 63.71 with volume. If it doesn't happen with volume, it's going to retrace. That is what it is. That's how volume moves. All right, let's take a look at the NQ. Today, I had time to do a little bit extra analysis. So the NQ has these listed zones, these new areas. Notice the double top. Sorry, that's my interview. Notice the double topping formation here. It is telling us, listen, I'm in a range. Momentum is not that crazy. Price action, not that crazy. We did have a big volume tick right here, a little bit above average, but nothing dramatic, right? We don't have a lot of economic indicators coming out. This looks very range-based, okay? Opening range formation for this morning in the NQ, we'll see the low, the high at 23,568, the low at 23,516. That also coincides with the VWAP, the value area low, all of these things suggesting a bounce zone. Look at the box. Clear box here. We want to see a box break with volume. and that will confirm the move to the downside. Break above with volume confirms the move to the upside. I'm removing this rectangle. Okay, point of control area. I don't like this one. The point of control is where it is for our 2 days of motion. Sideways action. Trend is up. Dips or buys. We could really end up breaking out. I like the long action at the base here, 23,500. Take some profit here if you want to leave a runner on. If you're like, holy cow, what if it takes 3 hours to get through that? Leave your desk. Or you can chip away, go to a 5-minute time frame, chip away and just buy the dips, knowing that the bigger picture is showing that you're going to walk through the volume profile. Let's look at the YM. Of course, much cleaner patterns because I don't have all the stuff marked up over it, but the story is the same. Opening range formation today in the YM, high 44,180, low 44,108. So round and about a 70-point range. It's not too bad. Look what's happening. The VWAP, right at the top, double topping formation, 63 moving average says down, 20 moving average says sideways. Let's change this. Let's use 14. All right, a little messier, but you can clearly see it's still sideways. That's what we're staring down. This big sell-off area, notice, opening range formation, right above here. Let's see what day that is. A couple of days ago, right? A little higher than that. There we go. Opening range above us, a ton of aggressive selling here. So what do? Bounces into this big moving average will force us down. My thought is watching for the break out of this box with volume. That's going to be the trigger for us in the long run. So above 44,221 with a volume push, that's going to be important. Anne-Marie, how do I see a volume push? You look at the volume bars right down here, right? This is pre-market volume. Price action is minimal. So we expect that it stays in a range until the volume tells us otherwise. And the opening range formation is going to tell us what that volume is. Losing 44,090 on the downside opens up the point of control down at 43,900 or so, something like that, right? Value area low, 43,923. This is an interesting pocket for us to watch. We are in a very sideways formation. Price action should grind north and south, you know, just whipsaws to death. All right? Be careful, right? Draw a box and listen, you can make your box 15 minutes wide in tiny time frames or 30 minutes wide and go, okay, I'm holding this 30 minute. I'm buying this test of the 30 minute. It doesn't have to be any big kind of calculation. You could easily go, okay, I'm going to look at these two candlesticks. If I break it, probably ought to have some mean reversion. If I head back in the opening range formation, I should head to the bottom. Simple mechanical flows are going to keep you on the right side of the trade. Let's take a look at Bitcoin. What are we staring down here? Sideways. Look at this. Opening range formation from 3-4 days ago. Let's see where. Oh, actually a while ago. Can't even pull it up on the chart. But look at the volume area. There's the box. Notice the box has got it's a little chippy, but here we go. This edge here at 117,340, pretty important. Even though we bounce above it, we head below it. This is your typical example of breaking a range without confirming volume. It breaks the range, removes. Breaks the range, returns. Okay? That's how you know if it's going to hold, if it's got big volume. If not, it will go into the next area of resistance and rotate. So what do we have? High, low, lower high by a tick, lower low, lower high. What should we do? Head back to the bottom of the box. This is my thought for micro Bitcoin today. Opening range formations. Let's get them. High, 118,285. Low, 117,730. That's going to be relative resistance. Support area, likely the value area low, 116,500. A deeper line in the sand, if we break out of this very thick area of volume profile for the last couple of days, we'll rotate down and move into relative support. Okay? And that relative support, we're looking at 115,500. All right, let's look at oil. So, remember, sideways pockets. Sometimes these things put in the weirdest setup action events, but here's the storyboard. We're in this big, nasty pocket of price action. I took a long overnight at, I think it was 65.30, and I got out at 65.60 because I had no idea if it was going to hold, right? Not bad, no biggie, but that was my trade. I liked the support area. I was willing to give it 25 to 50 points of squish on my formation, and now look what's going on. Bumping right into major noise. Look at this. Piano keys. Just an absolute mosh pit of price action. So here's what we're expecting. See the big volume pocket? Big volume pocket. We're either going to go to the top of the range and break down, or we're going to pull to the bottom of the range and break down. Of course, you might be saying to yourself, well, Anne-Marie, why can't we just stay in the range? Obviously, we can stay in the range. The question is, what do we do right now? My thought is, if we hold the value area low at 65.90, 63.90 and 63.90. Wow, my brain just went absolutely, it just went zip, right? It's like my hard drive just stopped dead. Sorry about that. Of course, you know I mean 63s down here and 63, 65, if I said that incorrectly. So what are we staring down? Well, the system has got all these entries or exits. They're just zones of contention, and the only way we take them is if we can see clear buying and selling patterns. So here is my thought. The big fat pattern from the last time we were sitting in this congestion is short action up here at 64.50 and long action all the way down here at 63.75. If we can't get those, everything we see in here is going to be sideways. A lot of risk sitting in here, folks. I would wait for the edges, not trade this one today. I really, really wouldn't, unless it came into your edges, okay? Unless it came into your edges. And remember, as always, these candlesticks can go, these arrows can also go in the opposite entry, taking us back down into relative formations. I'm going to remove that arrow, and I'm going to remove that and this arrow. Just clean it up a little bit, all right? I suspect top of the range formations don't take a short unless you're near the top here and you've got your risk totally under control, and that's going to be up near the highs, right? We've got a 14 simple moving average that's up. We have momentum that's bullish. We just had a very big volume candlestick that's outside of the range. Should it hold this bounce? It could. Do you want to take a long there? Collapse down into a 5-minute and make sure that you've got a clean area of new support going so that you can trade that well. All right, last thing. Let's look at gold. Gold, look at all the buying action pre-market, right? We know Asia markets are buying gold hand over fist, right? Europe buying gold hand over fist. The writing on the wall for the collapse of fiat currency is there. That actually comes from the Bible, you know. See the writing on the wall? Anyways, so there you have it. Lot of buying and a lot of selling, right? We have a rotation inside of a sideways formation. I drew that Fibonacci. I'm amazed that that fib worked so nicely. Look, topping, 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 big volume. Where's the last heavy congestion zone? It's going to be down here at 3,400. 3,470. That's the old breakout area. Also near value area high. Big volume coming in right here. I mean, the dips are buys, clearly. Now, how far might we fade on a dip? Everything shows just solid support. The value area high over an extended time frame is 3,460, 3,450, a key breakout area. It's this candlestick that occurred at what time? 10 a.m. on August the 7th. Monster candle. Notice it was a downward candle. The volume immediately turned around. Everybody held. So it's not only the color of that candle, you look for the break of that candle in either direction for directional motion. And so anything around 3,450 should be a buy zone. Finally, let's go to SPY. Let's zoom in, see what's going on. Couple of days. Remember, we look at the 2 days because we want to see what the volume profile is telling us here. Very noisy, but trend is up. We are above the 63 moving average. We have momentum here. Dips going to be buy zones. Looks like something dropped here, but they want to get up and over 634. My thought is, if we start moving up, watch the first 15 to 30 minutes of price action, start moving up, we will envelop this opening range candlestick from yesterday. Today's candlestick formation, very tight. We are inside yesterday's trading range. That's something that Hogue calls in range and in value. And so we wait for the break action events on volume to decide what we're going to do. Otherwise, we could chip, chop, clip, clop all over the place here. $633.04 value area high. Point of control, $632 or so. And the VWAP well down into the base at 631.90. All right, everyone. Good luck trading today. I'll see you on the streams.